My email address, as stated in just about every video I record, is chris@pirillo.com, and some of you email me once or twice, and some of you email me once or twice a day. Can't respond to every email I get. However, I do appreciate any kind of donation that you want to pass along. I don't get paid directly for the things I do for the community, so any kind of reciprocation is appreciated. Devere Kahan is one person who is always in my inbox, seemingly, and I don't answer every single question that he asks. Sometimes I just say, talk to the community at geeks.pirillo.com. I don't really have time right now, and he understands that too. In fact, he gave a donation, $15 an iTunes gift certificate. I do appreciate that. And he said, I understand you're very busy now, and he just wanted an answer to these questions, and here's why. He said he wanted me to do a video tour of the home office. I'm not sure I'm going to do that specifically, but I will explain the answers to his questions. He says he's looking to buy the same desk that I have here. Actually, it's a set of two desks and a hutch, and he wants to get some idea on how to connect everything. So essentially, he's creating his own Chris Pirillo configuration. He would be the third person that I know of that would have done that. There are two other people on the planet who have essentially bought the same everything that I have. It's kind of cool, I guess. You know, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Just wanted to go over a few points here. He said, how did you wire all of your Tix clocks, these clocks up here? Is there a mounted power strip on the back of your hutch? Where did you drill a hole, and so on? Yes, absolutely. There is a hole drilled, I believe, in either the middle part, or I guess the far part of either this section or this section in the middle. Hole drilled, you know, about yay. You know, whatever the bit I had, the biggest bit that I had, and then each one of the power adapters slid through there, connected to I guess it's just a regular old surge protector. Like I've just got nailed on or tacked on somehow to the back of the hutch, and that way I can flip the switch and reset the clocks all at the same time when need be. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head there with the nail being used to hold up the strip. Number 2, how you wired your speaker system. Where are all your speakers? How did you connect all of them to the subwoofer? Were the cables long enough, etc.? Yes, and I think, Uncle John, did you trigger, or did someone trigger the desk link? Because you can do that. Is it what is desk, or what is home office in the chat room, and it'll pop it up. But I think there's a what is speakers too. Although I know you can save money on tagjag.com or coupons.lockergnome.com. That's important to note if you're going to be spending anything. If you buy through the things that we put out there, we get a little credit for the referral. The speakers I've got configured. One of them is on this corner of the desk, which you can't really see. It's by the bamboo that I pull in every so often. That one, I have the cable running along, like electrical taped to the edge of this desk, and then strung in through a hole that was already, I guess, drilled into the desk portion. So I have that strung under and back and underneath. The second speaker is here behind the iMac. The third speaker would be over on, or behind this particular screen. There's this center speaker up top. I also have a rear speaker behind me here. You can't really see it necessarily. And then I have the subwoofer off to it's behind me, not in front of me. There's not a lot of room. So you can't really see all of them. I keep them hidden. I don't need to see the speakers all the time. They're there. I've got another smaller table upon which the laser printer sits. You've likely seen that before. It can be anything. I don't honestly. That's not a part of the desk system. It's something that I picked up, I think, at World Market. Something that matches color-wise. But it's one corner behind the iMac, behind the screen, up on top of the hutch, and then just off to my immediate left, the subwoofer completely behind me, completely out of the way. Yeah, and you can't even see the wires. Everything was able to stretch just fine. It was not an issue. Was not an issue at all. Number 3, your UPS and connections. Where do you have everything plugged in? Do you have multiple power strips, UPSs? How do you not overload the circuit with all the things you have plugged in? Your Ethernet connection, time capsule, etc., etc. I do have a couple of UPSs. I've reviewed them in the past. They're behind the hutch. I actually have about, I would say about a foot distance between the wall and the hutch. So I have the computer back there. I have all the cords and cables back there. A couple of different power supplies. that run the different computers and monitors. I don't drain that much energy throughout the day. If I don't need to be using something, I usually have it turned off. I still keep it plugged in, but I've got one of those energy efficient UPS systems where you can keep it plugged in and it only runs if another thing is running, and something for you to check out. So it's all back there. It's a jumbled mess. That's one of the reasons why you can watch the home office tour and you'll see it's just a jumbled mess. I don't care what it looks like back there. Nobody ever sees it. And one of the reasons why I moved the desk out a foot is specifically to have that space to throw cords, cables, junk, the computer that I didn't necessarily need to see all the time. I don't ever access the computer directly. I have an external, you might remember the external Blu-ray disc unit that I have connected by Firewire 800 that sits underneath the monitor. Use it when I need to. And then I've got my media reader right here. That's the other one I reviewed. I pretty much have reviewed everything that I have here in my home office. Number 4, your printer chumby phone. Where do you have all those things plugged into? How do you supply all with power? Well, the home office is actually here because it's important, is running on a separate circuit here in the house. The laser printer, of course, drains a lot, especially when it's working. It's always plugged in. The chumby, everything that's behind me, the chumby, the phone, the speaker, the laser printer, and I've also got an amp, like a guitar amp. Underneath there's a place where you can set stuff, and I just have that plugged into a regular old power strip. That's all it needs. You never want to put or plug a laser printer into a UPS. Bad idea. It can suck a lot. In fact, sometimes when the laser printer turns on, like the lights will kind of dim, they'll kind of flicker. Yeah, it's not good. So that's on a completely separate circuit, I believe, separate from the primary system that I have over here. Behind all the monitors, you have a lot of peripherals. The things hiding behind it. Well, I kind of said what I had. The speaker. I've got the Blu-ray disc, the media reader. And the only other thing I think I would have, the Griffin PowerMate is plugged in. You might remember that review. Plugged into a USB hub that I have plugged into my primary system. So I can access or plug things in or remove them from here without actually touching the computer itself. And for the most part, that's just about it. It's clean. As clean as I think I could make it. Easy to get to. Very convenient. And I've done the video tour before, but there's really not much to show you how everything is set up exactly, because they're in those positions. You want to make it your own. It's cool, that you're now the third person to have basically created my setup in your own home. I'd love to see pictures when you're done. I've seen pictures of the other people's setup. Really kind of fun to see my desk in somebody else's house. Fun and freaky at the same time. My email address, again, chris@Pirillo.com. Thanks again for the recommendations of that you're passing along, as well as the questions that you have, as well as the donations you may be able to offer. I receive emails pretty much every minute of every day, even when I sleep. We've got our community at geeks.Pirillo.com, which is where I would likely pass you to if you had questions that I could not answer. Do not be surprised if that happens. No offense, it's just I only have so much time in the day. And speaking of time of the day, we have 24 hours to fill 7 days a week with this live video feed in this chat room, typically talking tech, right here at live.Pirillo.com. We'll see you later.